Awesome. It's another Monday night, and that means that it is time for the hashtag TFR Motivation Monday
Zoom call.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody.
Dondi and Marcy here. We're super excited to have you guys here for a special edition of the TFR call. So we're going to, not go over all the announcements that we normally do because we want all the time for this amazing guest that we have. But keep in mind that if you have people that are part of your team or people that need to see what you're going to see tonight, that you're going to have your mind blown with, that they can always go to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel and as well as Freedom Reigns SoundCloud. Make sure that you guys, if you're not subscribed, that you go and subscribe as soon as this call is over tonight. And make sure you do the same thing, because what that does for you is you get notifications of when we upload new training, new information, all the good stuff to our YouTube and SoundCloud channels. So we're going to get right into this thing tonight. We're not going to take any time waste away at all because we want to make sure that you get all the information. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dondi to introduce our special guest tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marcy. Welcome, everybody. Team Freedom Reigns. We are super excited for tonight. And I want to share with you how just how uncommon and unusual this event is. And it's, if you're looking at network marketing from the outside, which on our day-to-day basis, when we're sharing our opportunity, we constantly have people outside of network marketing looking internally within network marketing and evaluating it. And most of the time what they're doing to decide whether it's for them is they're looking at how much do we make. That's why we have an income disclosure statement. That's why we have some of the stories. That's why for decades people have been talking about bikinis and Lamborghinis and mansions and Lambos and all this other stuff that comes along with network marketing success, because from the outside looking in, it's evaluated on how much we make. But I want to share with you guys something different inside network marketing, inside this wonderful profession, this wonderful industry. The top leaders really aren't that much concerned about how much they make. And when they're looking at success of their peers, it's evaluated on how much they give. And that really speaks to the heart of our guest tonight, Todd Falcone. He's been in this industry almost 3 decades. He's been a multiple 8-figure earner in this industry over time and is literally a living legend in network marketing. And for those of you who are just looking at network marketing, you're brand new to the team, you don't truly even understand how blessed you are right now to have somebody of Todd's caliber be as our special guest. And let me share with you how it all happened. I asked him and he said, I was like, it's because one of the things I'll tell you about Todd is he is a giver. I don't know very many people that give more than him inside this industry than him. And he said, hey, look, if you want, if you're open and you'd like me to talk to your team, just ask. And I was like, I'm gonna check this out, because I've been following Todd for many years. If you guys remember when I went those live Zoom videos about 3 or 4 years ago, talking to real estate agents live, I got that training from Todd. And so he has trained multiple 6, 7, and 8-figure earners in this. He currently does it. And I just simply asked him, hey, would you be willing to train our team? He goes, yeah, when can we do it? That was like 2 weeks ago. So Todd, from the bottom of Marcy and I's heart and Team Freedom Reigns, we are so blessed and honored that you accepted this invitation and that you're here and that you would be willing to take time out of your extremely busy schedule. I mean, guys, this guy travels all over the world. He's not with a company. He trains the profession. He's flown in by companies to train their top leaders, and he's going to be on Team Freedom Reigns speaking specifically to us tonight with the information that you asked me to ask him. So Todd, could you please join us? Thank you so much. We're so grateful.
What's up, you guys? Good to be here. What's happening?
So good to see you.
I'm excited. Anytime I get a chance to get in front of a group of eager people that have a desire to learn how to do this business, I take this time very seriously. And Dondi and Marcy, I appreciate you trusting in me to share with your team, with your group. And for those of you, I don't see everybody. I know we're broadcast someplace, but it's great to have all of you here. I think being here is just a great sign. That's that inquisitive, curious minds want to know. That's a great quality. And I remember when I first got started in this business, and I'll just go a little bit back into my history for those of you that don't know me or don't know my history. I started network marketing just over 30 years ago. Actually, August 29th of this last month was my 30th year anniversary, which is kind of crazy. And it's like, wow, 30 years of being in this business, not in and out of the business, but being in the business all the time. This has like been my life. My business career is, pretty much the entire time has been involved in network marketing. I say pretty much because, my first 2 years in network marketing, I quit my job 90 days into my first network marketing business. I'll tell you, this is how I got introduced to it. I was going to Long Beach State, and I had some dude call me up. He said, "Hey, my name's Jim. I'm calling you from Orange County Marketing Group. Or a marketing company. We're looking for people that can train and manage others in the expansion of our company. We want to talk to you." And I thought, oh my gosh, they're hunting me out already. This is how college works. They come to you. This is great, right? I was going through career fair and trying to find a job, and found my way to Irvine, California, 18201 Von Carmen, Suite 610. It was so funny because I totally remember the suite number and that experience, because that experience literally shifted the direction of my life for forever, right? I was introduced to network marketing. I thought I was going to a job interview, and I'd never even heard of network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct selling. I didn't know really even what an entrepreneur was. I was just trying to find a job and make some money, get out of college, and found my way sitting in this business opportunity presentation. I was like, this is weird. Like, there's all these chairs and a whiteboard and a big screen TV. And I was like, my last couple interviews weren't quite like, this is different. I was so naive that I had no idea I was in a business opportunity meeting. And I saw it. And I at the end of the presentation, I'm like, oh, I get it. I'm doing this. This makes sense. What's not to get here? Like, we got this product we can share with other people. We can make a retail profit on it. We can build a team as big as we want, and we can make a percentage on everything that they do. Oh my gosh, everybody's going to do this. Like, I'm in, right? And it was funny because I drove home back to my apartment in Long Beach, called my mom. I said, "Mom, I found my career path." And I'm like the first kid in my family to graduate from college. So she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I went to this meeting in Irvine. They were drawing circles on the board, and they were talking about how you can create an income, and you can residual income. You can build a team. You recruit people, and they can build it." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're in a pyramid scheme. If you would do that, I'm going to make you pay back every last dollar of your college education. That's a cult." And and I still did it anyway. That's what some kids do. I didn't listen to my mom. Thank God I didn't listen to my mom then, right? So I did it, and I started this journey 30 years ago, and 90 days into my first business, I quit my job thinking I'd be making 10 grand a month. I had no I think it was 22. I had no savings, no assets. I maxed out my college credit card on my first purchase.
Oh my God.
When they give you that $500 credit card, I'm like, here you go, there's my deal. And then they gave me this thing called a convenience charge, which was like a loan application. This is way back in the day, right? So I borrowed $500 at 28.99% interest and started with $1,000 in product with this company, and began that journey. And my first 2 years of the journey was a tremendous education. And I managed to survive the first couple years. I ended up running out of money, had to move home and live in the bunk beds at my parents' house, cut up my credit cards, and go through consumer credit counseling. I took a job at the family radio station. What was interesting about that is I realized the first day I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have a job. I don't want to work. Even though it's the family business, I'm like, I don't want to work for anybody else. And I already knew that already. But at the moment I walked in, I was like, oh boy, this is not what I want. So within a few months, I found another network marketing business. And this time I pursued it in a little bit more mature manner. Crazy thing is I had to have my check and my product shipped to my friend's house. Because if my mom found out that I was doing network marketing under her roof, I got a Sicilian firecracker mama, right? So she would not have been happy. So I was literally sneaking network marketing. I would leave my house with my pager and a roll of quarters to go prospect at night. I would be freezing my rear end off at a payphone, making prospecting calls, or sneaking in another room, and it was nuts. But I've been in the business ever since, and I had a very successful career in the field for about 15 years, and ended up speaking and training. I never thought I would do what I'm doing. There's a lot of people that, well, I want to be a speaker, I want to be a trainer. I'm like, no, you don't. You should come hang out with me for a month, and then you'll figure out that you don't want to do what I do, because it's a lot harder doing this than it is building in the field. But that avenue opened up for me. Somebody, and I'm sharing this because people are like, well, why? If you're so good at network marketing, why are you a speaker and a trainer? It's like that phrase, those who can't do teach. I totally disagree with that phrase. I'm sure there are people that can't do and they teach, but I've built in the field. The perspective that you're going to get from me is a field perspective. The only thing I know is what it's like to be a distributor in the field. All of my experience comes from the field. All of my teaching comes from the field. And so I understand all the amazing things that you're going to go through and the challenges that you're going to go through. And I don't get to say this for every network marketing company or group that I speak for. But I would have to say that you guys are in a winning company. I think you all probably know that. Marcy and Don didn't say, hey, say good things about LifeVantage before you get on. I was like, look, you guys have got an amazing infrastructure. You have amazing products that have real science behind them that a lot of companies don't have. So you have field leadership, you've got corporate leadership, you've got so many amazing things. I want you to know that you are in a good place. And sometimes it's hard to find a good home in network marketing. So if you do the work, you can succeed here. So it's not not, and I speak, in fact, I just got booked. I'm going to El Salvador in like 6 weeks. I just booked that today. I've spoken all over the world. That'll be my 31st country that I've spoken in. And, this network marketing training thing has taken me all over the world, literally. It's been an amazing 15 years of speaking and training, and so cool to hop on Zooms like this and do virtual trainings with everybody in their living rooms or wherever they might be. I saw the questions that came in from the group. I'm going to answer all those questions tonight. I want to start with this. Obviously, if you're here, you want to succeed. And I know I was super hungry to succeed. I wanted to know the answers. I wanted to know how to do it, what to do it. Just tell me, teach me. I want to figure this thing out. And I came in super naive and green and willing to grow and willing to be humble and listen. I didn't know anything. Here's my job history. My first job was McDonald's. My second job was Jack in the Box. My third job was parking cars at Kelly's restaurant in Long Beach, California. My last job I had was selling cable television in Spanish door to door. Like I literally would knock on a door and go, "Hola, yo soy de cable televisión, vamos a venir a todas las personas aquí con el cable de más." And I would do this whole script. Actually, that was the very first script I learned was in Spanish, so I understood the value of a script before I was ever involved in network marketing. It's funny because I have that full script still memorized like 32 years later, right? But the thing that I want you guys to understand, because when I go speak, I'm like leaving for New York on Thursday to go speak over there this weekend, then I'm in Vegas. And when I get in front of an audience, like, okay, I want to help people. How do you go big in this business? Like, you can come in here and scramble around and make a couple grand a month, no problem. But that's not the message I want to give to you. It's like, how do you make it big here? How do you go big in this business? The first thing I'm going to say, it has everything to do with your mindset. This is a mindset game. In fact, there's an acronym I use all the time, and you can write it down. It's MASS, and it's MASS, mindset plus action plus skill set equals success. So I really believe that is like the formula for success. It's getting your mindset in the proper place, like your beliefs. Like the biggest thing, think about this, and this is like, many of you guys are going to relate to this. Like if you've ever hesitated, like think about this for a second. If you've ever like had the opportunity to share LifeVantage with somebody, like you were there and it was on your brain, you're like thinking that's a great person, I should bring it up. And then you don't. You like hesitate, you pause, and then you're kicking yourself in the rear end because you didn't. Why didn't you? At that moment in time, like what was the thing that caused you to pause or hesitate? It was some fear. It was fear of being judged, fear of the unknown. It was fear of screwing up, saying the wrong things, fear of my friend not being my friend anymore because they, I brought a network marketing thing to them or something. And so what we got to do is we got to get a grip on our fears and what's preventing us from succeeding. Like my whole brand is The Fearless Networker. My book is Fearless Networking. And we came up with that because I was a fearful network marketer. I was scared to death. I remember like literally sitting early on in my career at my desk, talking to a prospect. And when you get nervous, what happens? Like your heart starts to beat really fast. Your palms get sweaty. Your mouth gets all cottony and dry. Right. And I was talking to a prospect on the phone, not even on stage. Right. You've heard people with like clicky mouth and a microphone. Right. And this guy says, "Dude, would you do me a favor? Just please take a drink of water. Cause like all I can do is hear your mouth clicking." And I was like, oh my God. I was like, scrambled. I think I ran down and lubed up my mouth. Right. And then from that point forward until I got rid of my nervousness, I like kept a straw and a big giant thing of water at my desk. So they couldn't tell that I was nervous. Cause this guy's like, seriously, take a drink of water. Your mouth is so dry. It's like driving me nuts. Right. I was like, so, I mean, I've gone through the nervousness, and I've been able to work past the nervousness and get past those fears. Not that those fears don't exist, but you can shove them aside long enough to get done whatever needs to get done. And so I think it's really important that you understand how critical it is to work on your mindset. Sometimes people are like, "Hey, come on, get to the point. Give me the magic script. Give me the secret ingredient." I'm like, dude, the secret ingredient, I can give you all sorts of scripts and approaches and questions, and I'll give you some cool invites tonight. But I think that the big part of it is you getting into a belief state around the business model of network marketing. It's a $183 billion a year global profession, 100 million people involved around the world. Almost 17 million people in the U.S. are involved in direct selling in one way, shape, or form. That's about 5% of the U.S. population. 1 in 4 U.S. adults have purchased a product from a direct seller within the last 6 months. Those are stats. That's not baloney stats. That comes from the World Federation of Direct Selling Associations. Those are real numbers. I don't like quoting stuff that isn't real. Those are actual statistics. If you look at the numbers, like, it's big business. It's a multi-$100 billion a year business. And it works. The question you have to ask yourself, do people make money in network marketing? Ask yourself that, even if you're new. Do people really, do they really make money in this thing, or is this all just, and I think most people go, yeah, they do. And then your second question, you go, oh, well, do they make the kind of money that I'd like to have in my life in this profession? Because why bother doing something if it's not going to get you what you want? And I think most people will go, yeah, people make that kind of money I'd love to have in my life in this profession. Then you ask the same thing about your company. You can look at the top earners in the company. Do people make money in LifeVantage? Yeah, they do. Do they make the kind of money that you might want to have in your life? And I know the answer is yes, because there's some big money being made in the company, right? And so those things, like belief and doubt, can't exist in the same space. You either believe it or you don't. Sometimes when we start this business, we have to start with a little bit of faith. And faith is believing in that which is not yet seen. Belief is based on facts. It's based on what you know. And once you know, and you can't take away what you know once you know it. So, but even as I say that, you still have to constantly be working on your mindset. Who you're surrounding yourself with makes a big difference. Who you investing your time with? Are you investing your time with people that push you, encourage you? Or are you with your weighty friends that are dragging you down, like my 2 college roommates that are like, hey, how much money did you make in your big, multi-million-dollar thing that you're doing? Hey, and then the next day I walk in, hey, how's your pyramid doing? Next thing I walk in, hey, you a millionaire yet? I mean, these my roommates, and I finally had to literally separate. I won't go into the whole story of that, but I literally kicked my roommates out, and it's one of the most liberating experiences I ever had in my life, getting rid of that negativity. We got to spend less time with people that are dragging us down and more time with people that are encouraging us and pushing us to do greater things. What we're doing, what we're reading, watching, what we're listening to affects our mindset. And I'll tell you this, it's an ongoing battle, like this good versus evil thing. Like if you go turn on the news, it's like, oh geez, I don't want to watch any of that. We got to be constantly like reading things. I'm reading all the time. I mean, I'm not going to show you all the books on my desk, but I'm reading this one again, Influence of Psychology of Persuasion. I mean, I've got books stacked all over my house. I'm constantly reading different. I'm doing it to this day. And you're either in a growth mode or you're not. And when you're growing, and I'm going to say this once and I'll say it again, you need to not only soak in the information, but you need to apply it. And so oftentimes people read a book or they attend a seminar, or they listen to something even like this tonight, and they're like, yeah, that was nice having that Falcone dude on there. He was kind of funny. He was cool, whatever, but I'm not going to do anything. It's what you do with the information that makes the biggest difference, right? And so mindset, super crucial. So everything that you can possibly do to work on your mindset and your attitudes and your beliefs around the business model. And then the big thing we got to work on is our beliefs in ourselves, right? Like I got to work on me and my skills. You got to understand something. Confidence, right? And confidence and competence are directly correlated with one another. So the more confident, the more competent you are, the better you are at something, the more confident you're going to be. So like when I started as a brand new, like literally, I didn't even stutter growing up, but when I started prospecting, I actually started stuttering. I was like, I'm like, where's this coming from? I've never stuttered. I'm not a stutterer. I don't have that, but I stuttered out of nervousness. So I started to work on my skills. I'm going to talk about it. You're going to hear me use the word practice. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it again later because it's crucial to your success in this business. So mindset. We got to work on our mindset. We got to do the right activities, the revenue producing activities, and we need to work on our skills. And when you put all those together, that's what creates success. So yeah, first of all, I had a chance to be on your website today, Team Freedom Reigns. You guys have got an amazing support tool for your organization. So I'll tell you right now, like many, and I'm not forgetting how many teams out there don't have what you guys have. It's amazing how I'll work with a group and I'm like, well, what kind of support are you providing your organization? Like, I don't know. Oh, I'm like, wow. So I was all over your site earlier today, and all of the resources that you have available to your team is so vital and so good. And I'm going to talk about that too. There's in fact, I'm going to look at some of the questions because I know you'd sent me some questions. So one of the questions was, well, what's the best way to get a new rep started, right? And you've got your Launch Strong guide, which I went through. It's very simple. It's a 2-page guide. Yeah, I would absolutely use that. Why would you want to reinvent the wheel? Like as soon as you get somebody signed up, I'll tell you what I would do. If I signed somebody up today, first thing I would do, you're in, boom, distributor ID number, it pops out of the system. I'm like, cool, let me get you introduced to some of the crew. So I would immediately, let's say you two are my sponsors, my immediate sponsors. I'd be on the phone with my prospect. And I'm gonna say, listen, I'm gonna introduce you to my business partners. This is an amazing couple out of Arizona. You're gonna be working with them as well. If I hadn't done that 3-way introduction yet, I would immediately do it as soon as that person is in the system, right? And what that does is it's like, oh, wait, there's this cool guy, Todd, and look at these other two. Look at this other amazing couple. Awesome. And then I would get off the phone with you two, and I would go another level up line. And then I would do that introduction. Then I would go another up line. I would probably introduce that person to as many people up the line of sponsorship as I could. And I love that as an upline, having team members introduce me to their new team members. It's like we're a team. We're like creating me helping you create success. I have a vested interest in your success. So I want to know the new people that are coming in the team. So one of the very first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to some of the to upline team leaders so that you feel more secure in your decision and you get to hear different perspectives, different stories from different people. It's a really powerful way of solidifying that person's decision, because sometimes people have buyer's remorse. Honestly, they just came in, they're scared. They're like, I hope this thing's going to work for me. This thing that I just put money into, I hope it's going to work for me. And so what we want to do is help them feel, comfortable and secure in their decision, and that you're welcome in my home. My objective is to get you so comfortable. Like, I got a friend that's literally going to be walking into my house like in 15 minutes downstairs. He knows I'm on a Zoom. He's comfortable enough where he can walk right into my kitchen, open up the refrigerator, make himself a sandwich, and do whatever he wants. Mi casa, su casa, right? And so I want them to feel super comfortable. Then, of course, I'm going to plug them into the team training site, teamfreedomreigns.com. And I'm going to make sure I go through the process that's in that launch guide that you have. And then, to me, you got to understand that there's a clock ticking. Every person has a timer. And the unfortunate thing is we don't know what their timer is. We don't know when the bell's going to go off. We don't know if it's 2 weeks, a month, 90 days, 6 months. We don't know. And then all of a sudden, when the buzzer goes off, it's like they're either sticking and staying or they're toast. And it's going to be dependent on what their experience has been up until that point. And so we do have to manage expectations, our own expectations. And we have to help manage the expectations of our new people. Like, when I quit my job 90 days into my first business, I thought I would be making 10 grand a month in 90 days. And nobody told me that, but that's the picture I created in my mind. And nobody actually adjusted my expectations. Said, hey, Falcone, I know you're thinking about quitting your job, but why don't you prove to yourself a little bit first that you can make some money here? Because I was selling cable television 3 nights a week, 3 or 4 hours a night, making $1,000 a week. It was a joke. It was like the easiest job a 22-year-old kid could ever have. I mean, I worked 10 hours a week, making $1,000 a week. I mean, that was beautiful. I quit that job. And then I went into desperation mode because I was running out of cash. And I hadn't proved to myself I could make money in network marketing. And let me tell you something, operating from a position of desperation is not the power position. Because even if you're not saying, hey, I'm super desperate, will you please join my business, please? Oh my gosh, I need to make a commission. Even though I may not be saying that, my body language and my verbiage and the way it was, just the energy that I was putting out was, dude, you're so desperate, I won't join you. And so, in fact, that actually brings me to another interesting point. There's something that I teach often, and it's called harnessing the power of projection. And this is really effective with, especially with cold market prospects, like when we get past our warm market. So let me describe this to you. I didn't know what this was until I studied NLP many years later. I got a master's certification in NLP. If you don't know what that is, it's neuro-linguistic programming. You can check it out if you want. But I did it earlier, and it's the same thing actors do. Actors play a part, like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear, for example. He played Max Cady, the real evil dude that got out of prison and like harassed the family, right? If you remember that movie way back in the day. But that's not Robert De Niro, but that was the part that he played, and we believed that part, right? He went into that role, and we believed the role. It's like when you get into movies, you're crying, you're laughing, your hair standing on end, or whatever it is, whatever kind of movie you're watching. When you're meeting somebody, the way you communicate, your body language, the words that you use, whether it's on the phone or in person, what you're projecting upon them based on what you say, how you say it, the way you're acting, becomes their reality of who you are, right? So this isn't about lying to people and say, hey, I'm making 50 grand a month in this thing. You gotta join me. And like that whole old phrase, fake it till you make it. Like I heard that a long time ago, like the late 80s, early 90s, fake it till you make it. Actually, the way it was taught to me was go buy a really nice suit, put on a nice fake watch if you got to, and look the part, like act like you're like Mr. Money Man. And that's unfortunately the way that was taught to me. I think it's more important that we fake ourselves out into believing that it's possible than trying to like, portray a lie to somebody. It's like the 1-bedroom apartment millionaire, the guy that's got the Range Rover out in his front yard that's, $1,500 a month under a carport, and he's like renting a 1-bedroom place. Like, why would you, so you look cool? I mean, and it's like funny because I lived in Scottsdale, and there's so much of that in Scottsdale. So many people like have to like, I got to show the money. What's sexy is money in the bank, not your car, not the. I mean, it's nice to have a cool car. Range Rovers are great, but I'm not picking on Range Rover, by the way. They're beautiful, but I think it's important that you understand the power that you have. In fact, I got to my first 10 grand a month in network marketing working out of a garage by harnessing the power of projection. I was literally working in a garage. There was a little carpet on the floor. White in a single pane moldy window. But when I got on the phone and I was prospecting, I didn't say, hey man, geez, I'm calling you from the garage. Hopefully you can help a brother out and maybe join my business. I acted as if. So that's basically what it was. I just held myself different. I thought, well, if I was making whatever, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand a month, how would I carry myself? How would I talk? And I just started to play the part. I didn't say I'm making 20 grand a month, but I communicated as if I was. And it's a little bit different with your warm market, the people that have known you forever, even if we've gone through a massive change in our life and we're not the same person we were 5 years ago. But it's funny, our friends still look at us like, dude, I saw you dancing naked with a lampshade on your head so many times I can't even count. I ain't trusting your business decisions. By the way, I'm not saying I did that. Maybe I did that once in college. I don't know, multiple times, but I don't even think I actually did that, to be honest with you. I probably danced on a table. I don't know. Anyhow, my point is, even if we go through a metamorphosis, sometimes our friends don't actually see it. So this is very effective in cold market. But I think the thing that you got to understand is a fast start is critical with people. And so I get them through the launch start guide, and then I'm immediately, let's take action with you. And I'm personally, I like to go after, when I bring in a new person, I like to go after their best people first. Like, we write down, use a memory jogger, or write down a list of people. And I think, even in today's environment, starting out with warm market, that's low hanging fruit. Those are people that you already have a relationship with. And honestly, if you come into this business, you're like, I don't want to talk to my friends. I'm like, why is it good enough for you and good enough for a complete stranger, but it's not good enough for your best friend that you love hanging out with? If you're going to be in business, wouldn't you prefer to be doing business with cool people that you like to spend time with? I mean, to me, that's what I'd like to do. And so I think it's really important. Like if I were to sit down with a brand new person, I'm like, hey, who's the most outgoing person that you know? Who's the most successful person that you know? Who's the most successful realtor in town that you know? Who's the person that is the most social that you know and has the most friends? Who's the most wild and crazy, coolest, funnest person that you know? And I think it's also important for you guys to be thinking about, like, who is your avatar? Like, describe, and later, don't do it now, but when you're done, describe like the characteristics that you would have or look to have in the ideal business partner. I'm sure it's not going to be grumpy, skeptical, negative, nasty, pessimistic. None of those words would probably be there. It would be super fun, honest, hardworking, happy, go lucky, whatever, like positive words. And if you write them down, when those people appear in your life, you're like, they have one or more of those characteristics. I'm going to have a conversation with that person. So in terms of like getting reps started, I like to get them inoculated into the culture, get them plugged into training. I'm not going to send them on a training journey. Go watch these 52 hours of videos and get back to me next week. I want to start working with you today. So introduce you to a few team members upline, get you plugged into the getting started training, and then honestly start making calls with you that very day, like within the hour if possible. Like who's the first person you want to put in the business? Who's somebody you can think of that would love to try this product? Who's one of your best friends that if you asked them a favor, in a second they'd be out, sure, I'd be able to help you out. And get them into action day one, not tomorrow, not the next day. If you can get if you get people to a quick start, more of them are going to stick. Because your whole objective is to get people in the black, right? Like let's get you making some money here. Let's get you having some, we're talking about the business, let's help you create some business success. And I think it's important that we look at that we're helping people succeed, that we're helping to work with them, like doing this whole sign up and going, hey, all right, hey, go make me some money now. Come on, go ahead. You go make me some money and report back to me later. That's like that, I'm Italian. So, throw pasta up against the wall and see if it sticks. is not a good strategy. It's a great strategy to make sure your pasta is good. I don't eat a lot of pasta because it's, Italians, man, it's all carbs. Like it's the pasta. It's like I almost never have pasta. If I do, it's like once a quarter, right? But I still love it though. It's so good. Pasta's so good. I just don't eat it very often. And I'm Italian. I eat like that. So get them quickly started, get them plugged in, and make sure you're engaged with them, because a fearful brand new person needs a little helping hand. It's like, think about I got 13 and a 15-year-old. If I said to my 3-year-old at the time, dude, tie your shoes. I'll be back in half an hour. Like, he ain't going to tie his shoes. So I got to help him. Let me show you. Wrap it around here, whatever the bunny ears thing is, And then I didn't get it the first time. And then you got to, so we have to do a little bit of working with people, especially brand new people who have never done this before. They don't know how to do it. So how would you expect somebody to go do something if they don't know how to do it? So if somebody teaches you hands-on, like there's an old, and I don't have the time to get into this whole style tonight because it's a way longer conversation, but if you just look at tell, show, try, do, that's a proven method of teaching. Let me tell you how this network marketing thing works and what we do. Hey, let me show you. I'll make a couple calls. I'll do a couple reach outs. I'll show you what I do. Come on, sit in my office. I'll demonstrate. All right, who's the first person you want to call? Cool. You make a call, and then walk you through kind of the process, and then give you some feedback. Next call, let's do a little bit differently. I do a lot of that. Like I run that small group retreats. It's like one of my favorite things to do, where I get 10 people in a house. I literally work your business with you for 3 straight days. And it's all hands-on. It's like me being your business partner for 3 days, living in a house together. It's super powerful. And I would say you can apply that with your people and helping them to get started very, very quickly. Another question that came up was how do you get to the foundation rank, which is Pro 3? It's $5,000 in volume. So let me tell you what my feeling is on rank advancing. Obviously, it's important. We want to rank advance through the plan. That foundation rank of Pro 3, that's apparently like the starting rank that you want to get to. And the way you do that is, first of all, you need to be in phase 1 production. And you need to stay in phase 1 production. And phase 1 production is this. You're recruiting. You're acquiring customers. Your priority is, I'm going out and putting new customers on this product, and I'm going out and I'm putting new people on the product. I'm putting new distributors into the business. I'm helping my other people do it as well. Not doing it for them, but helping them to do it. All the while knowing exactly where you stand relative to your next rank advancement. You don't need to know the intricate details of your compensation plan. Most people, honestly, couldn't, like, if, and very smart. I know network marketers have been in the business for 30 years or more, and they're like, I know how to rank advance, but for me to describe some people are super numbers people, but there's a ton of people I know that make a fortune in this business that couldn't fully explain the comp plan, but they can tell you, I know exactly what it takes to get to Pro 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know the volume that's required. I know how many personally sponsored required. You need to know that. How can you expect to rank advance if you don't even know what it takes to get to the next level? So getting to that first foundation, it involves, like, you guys have a genealogy report. And, when you're new, you log into your genealogy and you're like, oh, I'm all alone. It's just me. I don't have anybody. There's nobody there. And then you recruit a person. Then you recruit a couple people. And now you got 2 or 3 or 5. And at some point, you're going to get to a level where you look at your team and you're like, I don't know everybody on the team. I think it's really important for first rank advancements and future rank advancements that you keep an eye on your genealogy. And so throughout the month, you're keeping an eye on it. So, hey, I'm at, $3,000 in volume right now. I got 6 people that I personally put on the team. There's a few others here. I'm looking here. I got Sandra. Sandra's like, she's a couple thousand away from getting to this point. I can pick up the phone and go, hey girl, look, you're super close. You could probably we could probably both hit Pro 3 this first month. Who can we talk to? Like, so I think it's very important that you keep an eye on the genealogy throughout the month and knowing exactly where you stand relative to the next rank. So for example, let's say, and we know that it takes $5,000 to hit Pro 3, right? So if you go to the end of the month, and you guys do a monthly, so it's from January 1 through January 31. So on January 31, midday, you're at $4,980 in volume. And then you space it because you didn't close your month strong, and February 1 hits and you finished at $4,980 in volume. And there are people that miss ranks by $20. And it's foolishness, and it should never happen. And it happens because they're not paying attention to the comp plan and the genealogy. So you want to make sure that you're staying connected to your people, that you're working with the doers, that you stay focused. There's like, and the question comes up all the time, well, who do I spend time with? I heard this years ago. It didn't sink in for me, unfortunately, right away. Deserve versus need. You work with the people that deserve your time based on how they're showing up, not how they're moving their lips. Like, for example, in my first early days in network marketing, I sponsored my friend Tom Bennett. He was my only warm market guy that I sponsored. And he was showing up, and he was bringing people, and he was showing up for meetings. He was recruiting people. He was busting it. And then I recruited this other guy, Rob Weiner, and his last name wasn't Weiner. His first name was Rob, but all he did was whine. Like, seriously, I don't like the logo. My box had a dent in it when I got it. All he did was whine. And I'm sitting here like, because in every comp plan, you got to like have more than one personally enrolled person to rise in rank typically. So I'm like sitting here trying to give Rob CPR. I'm like, it's okay, dude. It's all right, bro. Come on. You'll be fine. It'll be okay. And I'm sitting here like trying to work on Rob, giving him like business CPR when I should have been spending all my time focusing on Tom, because Tom was showing up. And so the question gets asked when I do team building and leadership trainings, like, who do you invest your time with? You invest your time with the people that are showing up. And there are going to be lots of people that you recruit in spite of giving them a good start, in spite of you being a great sponsor and being willing to help them, that just don't do that for their whatever reasons, they don't show up. So you work with the people that, based on how they're showing up, those are the people that you work with. And that's just a rule that you live by, because I've made that mistake a few times and it's come back to bite me. And so the people that are there that are showing up, well, Todd, what if nobody's showing up? Then go recruit somebody who does, right? And if those people that aren't showing up eventually decide that they want to stop moving their lips and actually start doing something, like I know, like the worst thing is like when somebody says, "Oh, you wait till I do this. I'm going to tear this thing up. You're going to be rich when I'm done with you." I'm like, oh man, I wish you wouldn't have said that, because that's a guarantee that I don't never spoken this into existence, but it's a guarantee that they're never going to do anything. Anybody I've ever met who said, I am going to flat crush it, you go shopping for your next whatever, you look out, I'm going to be the biggest earner that's ever hit this thing. I'm like, all right, you ain't going to do anything. I don't say that, but that's always what's happened. It's so funny. So rank advancing is not hard. It's a matter of knowing where you stand at all times, keeping an eye on the genealogy report. And I think the most important thing is that you finish your month on purpose. I don't have time to get into this tonight, but there's a YouTube video that does a really good job of this, and you can check it out later. It's on my site, but I don't know where it's on my site. But if you write this down, it's how to triple your volume in 5 days or less. That's the title of the video. You can go find it on YouTube. I produced it originally about 10 years ago, but it gives a great example of how to finish a month strong. Like you could literally be at, like, let's say you're at $10,000 in volume on the 25th of the month. If you do what I teach you in that video, you can literally go from 10,000 and in 5 days turn that into 50 or 60 or $80,000 in volume. It's crazy what you can do. You can literally multiply your volume in a matter of 5 days. So I'm not, because I'm limited in time, because it would take me about 20 minutes to explain how to do that. Just go find the YouTube video, and it's visual. It's an older video, but I wouldn't change a thing in that video. And that's exactly the strategy that I would use for closing the month. You can find it on YouTube. So the other thing is, I think we make ranks happen through our activity. Not that we make ranks happen by doing it for somebody else. I think that's a big mistake, by the way. Some of you guys are probably really good at what you do, and you're impatient. And you're like, I want to get to this next rank. So you start, sponsoring somebody underneath somebody. I'm not a fan of like placing people underneath somebody else personally, because now they have an expectation that it's like, oh, I got a girlfriend. She made 2.4 million her first 27 months in her business. That's pretty fast, right? She had never done network marketing, made 2.4 million first 27 months. And then she was a basket case. And she hired me for two reasons. One, because her group started to stall. And the thing I finally identified, and I'll share this with you because you guys have a very simple getting started process. She took her getting started process, which was 2 pages like yours, and she turned it into 102 pages. So she complicated the entire process, and her whole business started to stall. And then what she also did is, so she is so good at what she does, and such a bulldog, that she like put all these people under people. She had people who'd never done anything making $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month. I was like, why don't you put me in your business? I'm like, if you're going to go build me an $8,000 check. But she's like, of course wasn't going to do that, but she's trying to get all these legs to qualify, because why should I work on qualifying? Because she's going to do it for me, because she's not going to qualify in her position unless she gets me to qualify. So she had all these people that were sitting there doing nothing. So, and whatever you do, you work with people that are willing to do, you help people do it, but you never do it for them. Okay. Does that make sense? Super important, because it's easy, like, and help a brother out. And then it's just, that's another one of those things that I've done, and it's come back to bite me. Another question that came in was, what realistic numbers does it take to get there fast? Or what's the ideal number of contacts I should make every single day? And that question actually gets asked of me pretty frequently. And here's my number. You ready? I want you to write down this number. This is a very specific. Yeah, what is that's me in reverse. It's a very specific number. Some of you guys can get that. When we used to have albums back in the day, you could play them backwards. Yes, right? Okay. Most people are like, what the heck is an album? What is that? An LP. Okay. So the key thing is, and here's the number. You ready? As many as possible. So I don't have a number. It's as much revenue producing activity as you can put into your day, given the amount of time that you have available to you. And it's different for everybody. I think if you're working and you only have an hour a day, that your entire hour should be dedicated to prospecting and recruiting. Should be 100% focused on that. If you got a couple hours, most of that time, probably almost all that time, should be dedicated. I mean, what else is there, right? In fact, there's something I do on every stage I speak on, and here's a little reality check for you. This is gonna be like a super reality check for you guys. And I do this literally on every stage or virtual stage that I've spoken on for 15 years. Do me a favor in your notes. Draw a little box on a piece of paper. A little square, maybe 1 inch by 1 inch box. What time is it? It's 5:42 p.m. Pacific time, so it's near the end of the day for most people. So in the box, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write the number of new people that you reached out to today about LifeVantage. What's the number? You don't need to tell me, but if it's this right here, if it's a 0, in my opinion, you're really not doing network marketing right, or you're just not in the business. And now, look, I mean, because what else is there? What else are you doing all day if it's a 0? And honestly, and I'll also say this, and there's a phrase that I coined years ago, and it's called the kiss of death in network marketing. Here's what I know it sounds good, doesn't it? The kiss of death. Like, what the heck is the kiss of death? Here's the kiss of death in network marketing. The kiss of death is the moment you grow a big business and stop doing the things that got you there in the first place. And now all you're doing is working with your team. Because let me tell you, it's way easier working with your team and help supporting your team than it is personal recruiting and prospecting and putting customers and new people in the business front line. And I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody who's made lots of money. In fact, I just talked to a girl last week. She made $1.4 million in the last 4 years in her company. She went into management mode. She was making 50 G's a month before, or 50 G's a year before, got into network marketing, made more money she's ever made in her entire life. Of course, because with the more money, you got more lifestyle, more choices, and she went into full-blown management mode. Her check was taken off, and then it started to balance off, and then it started to tail and tail and tail. And now she's like going to look for a job. Are you kidding me? How can you make $1.4 million in network marketing? Now you're going to go look for a job. We had a very tough conversation. Let me just tell you that. She's not going to go look for a job. I'm like, you need to get your butt back in gear, girl, and go, lean on the pillar of belief that you have. Like, your pillar is your 1.4 million and the fact that you represent a pretty outstanding network marketing company. So regardless of now, whether you're just getting started or you're making 10 grand, 20 grand, 50, 100 grand, 200 grand a month, or whatever that level is, you never, ever, ever stop recruiting. We need to be the example to set for other people. By the way, there's a little phrase that goes with that box. You ready? Here it comes. You ready? Double digits a day keep the commission checks on their way. Double digits a day keep the commission checks on their way. What's the first double digit? 10, You mean, Todd, I have to talk to 10 people a day? Otherwise, I'm not going to be successful in network marketing? I didn't say that. Did I say that? I didn't say that. But but if your numbers is zero, because here's, in fact, there's a very simple download you can pull off of my site. If you go to toddfalcone.com/30day, TODDFALCONE.com/30DAY, all lowercase, there's a download, and it's called the 30-day prospecting challenge. And what that is 30 boxes on a single sheet that I created for you. And if you track yourself for the next 30 days and you're real with yourself, if you're honest with yourself, and you write in the real number, and here's the deal, if it's 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 0, 1, 0, 3, that ain't good. But if it's 15, 8, 16, 11, 9, 4, 22, 4, 18, 3, you can get a grip on, because we've got to learn to be accountable to ourselves in this business, you guys. It's one of the most important things. We don't have accountability in network marketing. It's one of the reasons I've been running accountability programs since 2008 for the network marketing community, is to teach people how to get real with themselves in their business. So, there is no number, but I think, what you should do for yourself is you should set yourself, what's the daily minimum that you could commit to on a daily basis without fail? Like, wouldn't that be cool if you set a rule for yourself? I'm pretty sure none of you get up in the morning, leave your house naked. Like, it's not like there's no written, I think there is a written rule. Probably it's a law that's whatever, like, I don't know what the law is, obscenity in public or whatever. I don't know, whatever it's called. I don't know. There's some technical term for it that I'm escaping me. Right. But most people don't leave their house naked. It's like, it is a law, but you just wouldn't do it. You set a rule for yourself in this business. Never does a day pass where I dedicate time to my business, where I don't reach out to X number of people. Thank you. A decent exposure. I appreciate that. I was trying to find the words, right? So why not set a rule for yourself that, hey, I don't go to bed, I don't go night at night until I've reached out to X number of people. But it's got to be a number that forces you to stretch, but you can also live with. Don't come back and say 50 a day, because you ain't ever going to live to 50 a day. I can't live up to 50 a day. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 8, maybe it's 10, but something that without fail you can live up to, okay? I think that'll be a very good thing for you if you give yourself that kind of rule. It's a powerful rule. And what is that? That's discipline. Discipline is giving ourselves an order and then following through on that order. We need to be disciplining ourselves to step up and get things done that need to get done. It's like I've been disciplining myself to get my butt out of bed at 5:20 a.m. every morning to go to yoga. Do I want to get out of bed at 5:20 in the morning? I'm a zombie at 5:20. This morning I was like literally a zombie. Push the coffee pot, get my yoga stuff. And my wife actually last night, she's like, "Are you really sleeping in your yoga clothes tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am. You got a problem with that, baby?" Because then it's like one less thing I got to do in the morning. I don't have to go looking for that stuff. I slept in my yoga clothes. I got up and I did yoga this morning, and then I took my yoga clothes off when I got home. I got naked, took a shower, started my day. I was crushing it by 7:30 this morning. So there is no number. As many as you can in the time that you have available to you. Somebody asked for some invite examples. I would say one of my favorite questions to ask is this. It's a very powerful question. It took me 6 years actually and I'm not just I'm not that slow, but it took me 6 years to get to a point where asking, because not all questions are created equal. Like Don D, for example, like he asked, it's ask. He asked, "Hey, would you hop on my team call?" Yeah. The fact that you asked, yes. It's crazy. People won't even bother asking something. It's like, if you ask, you get. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? So just the art of asking. Like if I was talking to somebody, I said, "Listen, John, let me ask you a question. Do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing with your business?" That's the peak interest question I teach in my recruiting professionals course that Don D was referencing earlier that he had gone through. And that question's powerful. And if you could have that in your arsenal, it's a great question. Look, hey, do you keep your options open at all in terms of making money outside of what you're currently doing as a real estate professional? By the way, I teach that. I'm going to give you another link real quick because I don't have time to get into it tonight. I have a pre-recorded training that I do about 6 times a week. It's my Recruiting Professionals webinar. If you want to visit it sometime this week, feel free. It's a 60-minute training. The website for that's toddfalcone.com/pros, PROS. And I will tell you, I sell my Recruiting Professionals course at the tail end of it. Even if you don't buy it, I don't care. But you'll get enough out of the course where you'll start to understand the concept of recruiting up. I'm a big fan of recruiting talent. If you're in this business, that's what we're looking for, is to put talented people into our business. And I'll tell you one thing for sure you'll get out of that webinar. you're going to find that you have missed opportunities under your nose every single day that you're not taking advantage of. There's one part of that webinar you're going to be like, are you kidding me? I'm missing out on that much opportunity that's literally underneath my nose every single day because you're not perceiving it as opportunity. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. Sometime this week, if you can want to go there and you can check that out, you're welcome to if you want. Simple invite for like warm market, great warm market invite. Hey, John, Todd, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? Quick, whatever you say to your friends. Hey, hi, how are you? How's it going? What's up? What up, dude? Whatever, however you talk. And say, listen, brother, I'm calling you for a reason. I'm super excited. I just launched into a new business. I think it's going to be really big. I'd love to show you what I'm up to. When would you have X amount of time to watch this video? Fill in the blank with how long your video is. I found something. I think it's going to be big. I'd love to show it to you. When would you have X amount of time to take a look at it, right? That's a very simple invite. I think it is important for you to have a couple of different approaches that you feel comfortable with. We have to feel comfortable inviting people. It's one of the most important things that we do in this business. And having a couple of very simple invites would be super powerful for you. That first question that I gave you, do you at all keep your options open? That's really typically a cold market invite, but it could be done. It could be done with warm market as well. My friend Andrew from South Africa plugged into my Recruiting Pros course a while back, and he's recruited over 200, almost 300 people now on LinkedIn, asking that exact question. Another buddy of mine who's actually a realtor in Colorado Springs, he specifically works in his local market and calls local realtors and local business people and sits down with them. And he loves just working in his backyard. He asks that question all the time. Do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a blank professional? It's a powerful question. So let's see. Oh, when you run out of warm market, now what? Oh boy. I'll tell you the funny thing is I was working with this group and not this group, I was working with this guy and he was saying my upline, they say there's nothing outside of warm market. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? You get through your warm market or you don't know a lot of people and now you're out of business? That's basically what it's telling. You're out of business on my team because we don't teach anything outside of warm market. Well, Facebook groups, here's a couple of examples. Think about something you're passionate about. What do you love? Like what are you into? Are you into vegan eating? Are you into surfing? Are you into skiing? Are you into knitting? Are you into mountain biking? Are you into whatever it is that you're into? And go find a Facebook group that is of your like passion. And you want to find a closed Facebook group. Go into a group that you either have a high level of interest in and curiosity about, or a high level of expertise in. And go in there and be a valued contributor. Like you could go into a group, let's say you were like the vegan master and you went into Vegan Beginners 101, which I know is a group on Facebook. And you went in there and because you're the vegan master, you can go in there and people are asking questions. And as the vegan master, you can go in there and answer people's questions and be perceived as a valued contributor, which puts you into new markets. People are like, who's this amazing vegan master that's contributing to all of this stuff? They're going to start scoping you out on Facebook. You'll end up becoming friends with people you would have never otherwise seen. And Facebook becomes that's your real estate, right? And then they're like, hey, why is this person traveling all the time, going to cool places? They seem like they're having fun. What? I don't think they even have a job. What is the vegan master doing, playing all day with his children or whatever? So Facebook groups, meetup.com is another powerful thing. There should never be a situation in your life where you feel like you don't have people to talk to, right? I spent 11 years working purchase leads, right? Like business opportunity seeker leads. Would that be my number one choice today in cold market? No, not at all. Would it be good practice for somebody to get the cobwebs out? Yes. Could you recruit people doing that? Yeah, of course you could. It's a long, arduous process because you got to sort through so many people, which is exactly what led me into recruiting professionals. Because honestly, I got sick of talking to people that were like, hello? I'm like, is Bob in? Yeah, this is Mom. And this is Bob had requested information on a business opportunity seeker ad. I just got tired of that. So that's why I started recruiting realtors, insurance agents, mortgage people, professional salespeople, all that stuff that I talked about, or I'll talk about in that recorded webinar that you can visit if you'd like. But you definitely need to be doing something, getting out. Like we were, how we say in network marketing, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I don't know about you, but I've been all by myself in my house all day. My team, I don't have a team now, but I'm here by myself, right? You don't have like Don D, Marcy, I don't see your whole downline at your house right now. You guys are at home by yourselves, right? So sometimes we got to get out. So I'll literally leave the house and I'll go park it at a Starbucks or another coffee shop or something and work remotely. And working remotely puts you in position to potentially meet somebody. I'm not necessarily like, oh, I'm on the hunt, I'm going to go find somebody. But if I'm spending a couple hours working in a coffee shop and, you know, eye contact and a smile, you might have a conversation with somebody. I meet people all the time, everywhere I go. Literally everywhere I go, I meet people because I walk around with my head up, I say hi. And here's the thing about that. Like a lot of network marketers, what they do is they cower because now they got the business. Before they were like super social people. I was like, hey, how's it going? What's up? And now they got this business like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? You know, if you just understand, you can just be you and be the way you've always been and just be yourself and you got your business. And there's a phrase that I pulled that comes out of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's be genuinely interested, not interesting. And if we just turn the attention on them and get into discovery mode and ask people, because most people are so into themselves and their busy life that they don't even really hear people that are talking to themselves. We get somebody talking about themselves and we get them to open up and we're truly listening, authentically, really listening, not, you know, tweeting and Facebooking at the same time and doing this at the same time. If we're really plugged into somebody, they're going to tell us if they're stressed out, if they don't like their job, if they, you know, are looking for a change, if they're not feeling as healthy as they'd like to feel or whatever it might be. And there's so much more that I could get into tonight. Of course, like I said, I've got limited time. I'm going to share something at the tail end of this, which will actually give you an opportunity to get into some of the subject matter super deep and really get it. But there was another question that came up. What's the difference between following a system and creating your own? I'm so glad somebody asked that question. And I noticed on your website, it says one team, one system, total support, right? Look, you guys have a system to follow. And why in the world would you want to go through all the work of doing your own thing? Like, I'd rather be in an organization where my upline's got an amazing system I can just plug my people into. And here's the problem with starting your own system, right? If you start your own system, then people in that line of sponsorship are like, well, which one do I follow? This one or that one or this one? And egos are the things that typically get in the way that cause people that really feel like they need to, you know, I got to go create my own system. And if we can just figure out a way to all get along and value other human beings, value the producers in our organization. If I was running, you know, let's say, you know, the Freedom Reigns, like if I was you guys, you know, I'd be, of course, being in this position where if I've got big time producers in the organization, I want their valuable input into the overall, what we're providing the bigger team. And when people start to fractionalize and break off, first of all, if you got to go create your own system, it's so much work. It's such a pain in the butt. It's like, it takes you out of production. And then what you're doing is you're confusing your organization. I've literally seen, and because I've done this for so long, I've seen it happen multiple times. There was a company that got up to about 900, just shy of $1 billion. About 7 or 8 years ago, they were like one of the top companies in network marketing. They don't even exist anymore. They literally imploded. And one of the biggest reasons that they imploded was they were so, there was so much ego and there was so much breakage in this system, that system, the other system, that people got confused. They didn't know what to do. And so they therefore did nothing. And the company over time literally imploded and got acquired by another company. And that brand no longer exists. And it shouldn't be that way. I was all through your website today, all over it. You guys have a rocking system. Follow the system. Like, think about this. Look at McDonald's as a franchise. I know none of you guys ever eat at McDonald's. No network marketer would ever eat at McDonald's, right? I'm going to use it as an example because it's the greatest example of duplication there is on planet Earth. No matter where you go, in whatever city or whatever town, if you go order a Big Mac, it's the same Big Mac because they follow systems and processes. It was my first job. I was sitting there flipping regulars. Cheese on 12, cheese 6 on 12, Todd. Okay, cool. And when I would make you put the mustard in the ketchup, the mustard has a measured trigger pull. And you can't just go, it's like a measured amount of mustard. And the ketchup is a measured amount of ketchup, slightly more ketchup than mustard. 2 pickles, not 4, not 6, 2 pickles. And some of those dehydrated onions that they throw in there, which are gross. And then that's your hamburger and your cheeseburger. Well, if I bought a McDonald's franchise, I'm like, hey man, I'm making tacos. They would come strip the franchise right out from under. You don't make tacos at McDonald's. You follow the system. But we don't have that kind of control here because it's not franchising. But I would say the best thing that you can do is follow the system. And and what I've noticed from looking at your site, systems and simplicity are what lead to duplication. You've got you've got the system. From what I can tell your system is very simple, easy to follow, easy to understand. It was easy to navigate through your website today. And I think if you just stick to the program and you don't think that you have to reinvent the wheel, then you're going to be in a much better position. So that's what I got to say on that. I know we're at the top of the hour. I want to say a couple of things that that I think can help you level up your game. This is something that I've been doing. I mentioned this whole idea of accountability. And when I was building in the field, I always had people on my teams that wanted to, but they couldn't seem to. You got people on your teams that they're like, I want to, but they just couldn't seem to like figure it out. Either get to work, get their rear in gear. It's like if you ever worked out with a personal trainer or gone to a fitness class, like the other day, my wife, so I came back from yoga, which is a guided fitness class. Like if I did yoga on my mat at the house, there's no way I would get the same workout that I would get in yoga class. No chance, because I couldn't push myself that hard. But being in that group class, I'm like, I pushed myself. I come home, I'm literally stripping my clothes off. I'm like, and she's like, hey, are you going to TRX with me? I'm like, no, I'm taking a shower. She's like, go to TRX with me. I'm like, okay, I'll go to TRX with you because it was a light day. So I literally stripped off my sweaty yoga clothes, put on a different set of workout clothes, and went to TRX with my wife. Now, I just did an hour of yoga, and I'm in this TRX class for the first time, and it's hard. This TRX class is not easy. And I'm not gonna sit there and back off when you're doing this exercise or this thing. So, man, I got a smoking day of workouts. There's a lot of times where I didn't want to, but I was just like, I'm not going to be the one guy in class that ain't doing it because there's 7 other people here. I'm going to step up. And it was the pressure, the social pressure with the lead instructor and the other people that causes you to do it. So I started running accountability programs like that for my teams. And then when I became independent, way back like 2005 is when I started speaking full time. I was like, it'd be cool if we could run an accountability program for network marketers. And so I designed a curriculum that I started in 2008, and I've been running them for, I don't know, what is that, 11 years now? Oh my gosh, it's 11 years of A-teams every quarter. So we run a 90-day accountability program. And the analogy that I use even in the sales video for that is it's a lot like hiring a personal fitness trainer, but for your business. And what it does is it gets you into action in a major way. And for example, your 2 leaders here tonight are actually doing my next A-team that starts on October 1st, this next Tuesday. And they're going to be pushing themselves for this final quarter of 2019, which honestly, October, November, and December, being on the gas these next 3 months, so crucial. This is some of the best building time of the year in network marketing. And they wanted me to kind of bring this up to you guys as well. We have very few spots left in it. This is like the last hoorah of people that are going to have a chance to get into the October 1st start. We start on October 1st, this next Tuesday. We have a weekly Zoom for 12 straight weeks. The first one on Tuesday, because of my schedule, is at 5 p.m. Pacific time. The rest of them for the remaining 11 weeks are at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. We record all of them, so if you miss one, you can catch up. What we do during that is I teach you how to get into a mode of tracking your revenue producing activities and really get real with yourself about what you should be doing and get you into a production mode. I'll tell you this, when you do A-team and you do it from start to finish and you do what I have you do, which is anybody here can do it. I don't have you do things that are like incredibly complicated. Like there's no way, Todd, I could never do this. Any of you can do it. If you do it and you finish it, it's impossible for you to do less. You will absolutely learn a ton. You will absolutely do more. I guarantee you. In fact, I'll just say this publicly. You do A-team with me for 90 days, and you do everything that we do in A-team, and I don't give you a bunch of homework. It's all about your personal production. It's all about helping you produce more. That's the total focus of it. Let's get you producing more. You do all the activities, and you do all the things that we do over these 12 weeks, which are all designed to grow your business. If you come back to me at the end of this thing, you go, Falcone, look, here's the deal, bro. I literally did everything that you told me, and this sucked. I don't think I got any value. And I will have no problem going, hey, bro, here's your money back. Have at it. I will not ask you a single question. There's your money. No problem. I do know this because here's the thing. Do you think I would continue to do something quarter after quarter after quarter for 11 years, every single quarter if it didn't work? I'm not that stupid, right? Like you do things in business, you're like, and by the way, here's what success is. Success is repeating the things that work and deleting the things that don't work. You find something that works, you repeat it. You do something, you're like, that didn't work out well. I'm not doing that again. Repeat what works, delete what doesn't. Here's what we're now. A-Team, so from the beginning of time, well, 2008 is the beginning of time for this, has always been $500 for the 12 weeks. I've never changed the price. Actually, no, that's a lie. We did increase it to $6.99 for a couple of quarters. We reduced it back to $4.99. This quarter, we did scaled pricing. Early registrations, you get in for $2.99, which is a great deal. We've never priced it at $2.99. And then it actually last Wednesday, it increased to $3.99. I had a bunch of people over the weekend that were emailing, I missed the deadline, can I get in? You know, it's like so funny. Like they see it coming, and then they're like calling me or texting me. I've had a bunch of texts and phone calls. So I called my assistant yesterday. I said, just change the price back to $2.99 so these people stop complaining. You know, so we were gonna I was gonna have to give you a coupon code. I don't even have to give you a coupon code. You guys can get into A-Team right now for $2.99. That works out to like a mediocre lunch a week. There's a 2-payment option. You can spread it out over 2 months if you want. And then we for people, I want to make sure you can do it. We included for the first time, we have a 3-payment option. If somebody needs to do 3 payments, you can do 3 payments. Whatever you have to do for you to get into it so I can help you get more production out of your business, do it. Your 2 leaders here are going to do it. The Nettles are absolutely in. I think it would be cool to have a bunch of you guys as well doing it with them. Imagine, and the best way to do it is, can you imagine if you got a crew of your people running with you at the same time, charging, being held accountable, playing your A game for 90 days, what's going to happen in your business? We've got a few more days to register, but we're almost full. So the page actually turns off as soon as we get to 100. The website's toddfalcone.com/team, TEAM, TODDFALCONE.com/team, TEAM. That's the website address. And you can go there. I wouldn't wait because we're almost full. We're in the last week of registrations. And if you go to the page and then there's like a waiting list, you'll have to wait till first quarter. And the fact that Marcy and Don D are doing this, I think you want to do it with them rather than waiting until first quarter. Let's get you running now. And I promise you, you'll get a ton out of it. I promise you, you'll learn a bunch. And most importantly, your production in your business building activity is absolutely going to go up. And you will definitely do more this upcoming quarter than you've probably done in many quarters. So get yourself registered for A-Team. It's only $2.99, 1 payment, either 2 payments if you want, or 3 payments. I don't care what you do. That's up to you. But don't let yourself skip out on this opportunity to run with your team leaders and really do something big as we finish up 2019. So I know I'm a little bit over the top of the hour, but I appreciate you guys so much for having me. And Marcy, Don D, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, cool stuff.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Todd. I've wanted to do this for a long time, and we picked the last quarter of the year because one of the myths in network marketing is that it's so difficult to build in the last quarter of the year because of the holidays. And if you believe that, I mean, if people that do believe that, if you turn it around and say, well, if that is the case, then you have a much greater likelihood of success, because if all the other network marketers aren't doing anything, you have now that you can take their database and they don't even know it. So waiting till the last quarter was best opportunity for Marcy and I. Plus, we're going to have it fresh, implementing it already, and already have that momentum when the calendar year tips, because January, February, and March are the most explosive months in network marketing anyway. So it just worked out absolutely perfectly. So thank you for and that was way gracious of you. We never expected anything like,
Nothing
giving
like
that kind of a deal to our team. We just appreciate you so much, Todd. We're looking forward to crushing this with our team. Marcy and I are super excited about working with you. Can't wait. And thank you so much again for your time and just being who you are, a man of your word. And you are the most giving guy in network marketing, I think. Thank you, buddy.
My pleasure, you guys. I appreciate the opportunity to share with your team.
Thank you so very much.